Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Journey into Comics with your hosts, Nate Phillips and Brandon Stone.
I am a god, you dull creature.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Journey into Comics. Today we are live from Studio C, and I'm sitting across from the incredible, edible Brandon Stone. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm edible now.
Yeah, well, I guess that's weird, right?
Well, I mean, I said you were edible last week, but
Oh.
or 2 weeks ago.
It's been a while.
Well, I mean, since we've seen each other, but yeah.
Yeah. So we're here today. We've got a kind of loosey-goosey thing going on. We had a different podcast planned out.
Mm-hmm.
Procrastination happened. Let's just be honest here, folks.
Yeah.
But we're going to be bringing something really special to you guys. We'll probably talk about that towards the end of the show, give you guys a little idea of things to come. But today we're going to cover a little bit of ground, and then we're going to start our Spidey Riff Track, where we talk about the 2002 Spider-Man movie.
Oh, yeah.
Featuring Tobey McGuire.
Now, we've talked about doing this for a little while.
Yeah, I think we brought it up a couple times. I'm really excited to do it. It's not a movie that I necessarily would have on my own said that's the great first one, but the more that we've sat on it, I'm like, man, that is a really great first movie to do.
I think it is because I think it can be praised as well as kind of criticized and made fun of. And, it just, to start with some other great superhero movies is fine. But I also think it's relatively topical for the time period as well.
Very true. You've got Spider-Man's getting ready to make his debut in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Who knows, could be an Age of Ultron as a post-credit. We don't know. We're not sure what's going on there.
Actually, did they just... Maybe they're not psyching you out, but didn't they say there's not going to be a post-credit? There's going to be like a mid-credit?
A mid-credit, which is actually... Thanos was the mid-credit in the first Avengers. Mm-hmm. The second post-credit was the shawarma thing that everybody thought was just, fucking hilarious because you didn't expect it. And then you go back and you watch the movie again and you catch Tony's little one singular line talking about shawarma. Have you ever tried it? Maybe after all this we'll try it sometime. And then to actually catch it in the post-credit was very clever. They've said that the post-credit is dark. So who knows what's coming? Yeah, I don't know. But speaking of dark, that's a great segue. Mm-hmm. We're going to jump right in, folks, as hopefully anybody who's listening to this podcast knows. April the 10th, that was Friday, they released Daredevil on Netflix, the entire series.
Yeah.
Brando and I have both watched episode 1. Brandon's one episode ahead of me. He got to the second episode. I'm not there yet. But we're going to sit and kind of talk about it a little bit, give you guys our rapid reaction on how it felt. What went through our minds. Brandon, go ahead and start this one off, man.
First off, and I'm just going to go ahead and just say it, after 2 episodes in, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a step above some of the other superhero shows, and I haven't watched a lot of them all the way through. I've seen snippets, but I think this show has something the others don't have. And what that is, maybe I can't quite describe. Maybe it's theme, maybe it's maybe trueness to the character, maybe the character is just more interesting to me.
Do you think that because it's on Netflix, and because Netflix you don't have as many restrictions,
yes,
that has given this Daredevil show this ultimate freedom to kind of breathe its own darkness into itself and really create something that could be quite beautiful when we're all said and done?
Oh, I totally agree. The simple fact that we are living in an age now where normal cable television is sort of dying off slowly. People are cutting the cord. Now on television we have Arrow, Flash, Gotham, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We have cable television superhero shows. But what I feel for this is almost like the first dipping your toe in, right? I feel like they can do a lot more with going Netflix because you can do so much and you can take the time. And as I've been saying, I thoroughly believe that a television series should no longer be any longer than 16 episodes. I think it needs to be 12 to 6. You go 24 and I feel like you're dragging it out too much for the audience. Mainly me, and maybe I'm just saying this is what I want, damn it, but that's what I want, damn it, because I find myself that I stick with a story that can tell itself in 12 to 16 episodes. And you can do it. You can
Walking
definitely
Dead does it.
Walking Dead does it.
Doctor Who does it.
Yes, and so did like Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones 10?
Yeah, 10. Yeah, they do it in 10. House of Cards. And so Daredevil's only, what, 12, 13?
It's 13.
13?
Yeah.
And it's perfect because you feel like you can sit there and you can watch them, and they tell a story. And they're able to do it in a more concise way. They don't have to have a lot of filler. And I like that with this. I like how they're doing it. I like the cinematic style of it. I believe it's shot beautifully.
It is. It has such a very peculiar tone to it that it's almost like, and this is maybe weird to say, but it's almost like something you've never seen before. Quite. It's a lot of things you've kind of seen before, but all done really focused on those things and really done well.
I feel like this is a great character to do it with because I feel like this character hasn't had enough exposure. Sure, they did the movie back in 2003, but I feel like this character is one that is definitely deserving of this sort of treatment because if there's any character, and we've joked about it here on the podcast, and me and Nick actually had a conversation about this. We always joke about Iron Man and Batman being very similar, but how are they similar? Just because they're both rich?
Exactly. It kind of stops there.
Thematically, Daredevil and Batman are actually a lot more alike. In fact, I mean, it's been said that Ben Affleck played Daredevil because he wanted to play Batman.
That is very true.
But they weren't doing Batman again for a while, and so he jumped on Daredevil when they were offering it, and he took it. But, and I said this to Nick, I kind of feel like Daredevil is like the common man's Batman. There are similarities and there are differences, of course, but when you talk about theme, Daredevil's it's very similar. And in fact, you can also say Hell's Kitchen is pretty much the same kind of area of Gotham.
Narrows, yeah.
Yeah, and the same problem with organized crime and everything. So it's like does Batman hang around a lot like in the Gotham City version of like Manhattan? Not really.
No.
No, I mean usually you see those in the backdrop, and he's as you said in the Narrows, and so it just I mean Spider-Man hangs out in Manhattan, and that's cool. But no, Daredevil, to me it fits, and I feel like I said, back in the day, I don't know if I said it on this podcast, but I definitely had the opinion of instead of seeing another cinematic Batman movie, I wanted to see them do Batman television, and we're sort of getting that with Gotham. It's different, but it's not Batman.
They're dipping their toe.
Yes, they're dipping the toe, and I've got my own praises and concerns with the Gotham series, but the idea is that this show opened up with you seeing he's starting, but you don't see him training. This is like he's past his training point and he's just getting ready to go and he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, he's finally doing it. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
And this is very still thematic. How did you feel about Marvel releasing the image of him in the red suit for the first time right before the series comes out? It was like kind of unfair. I was excited to wait until I got to it,
Now, I heard it got leaked. And then
really?
I think I heard it got leaked, and then they went ahead and said, all right, it's out. Let's go ahead and put our stamp and put the official thing out. And yes, I'm enjoying it because early on he's got like the black suit. It's very DIY, and it looks great, even in its, with its being so minimalistic. But yes, I kind of wanted to see that progression, but I think the outfit does look really cool.
It absolutely looks really cool. And I mean, we've only seen like from the chest up really, so we don't know everything about it, which is exciting. One thing I really love about this show, and this is obviously just in the first episode for me, the Matt Murdock Foggy Nelson relationship is so fun and fun to watch. Those two as practicing lawyers. I mean, it's funny because to me, I've seen the Pro in Saul Goodman, Jimmy McGill in Better Call Saul, in his evolution in Breaking Bad, and then to see these guys who are very straight and narrow. Well, one of them straight and narrow, but anyways, that doesn't matter. To see that just kind of youngness and that drive that they have is really fun. And yeah, there are some subtle quips and stuff, but overall, this show has great pacing, I think is the best way to say it.
I agree. The first episode, and we'll focus just on that since that's all that you've seen, they give you just enough action to keep you interested. They give you the beginning set, which is very similar to the Batman Begins at the docks. It's sort
Kinda, yeah.
and it's different, but I thought of it like because that was his big first reveal, sort of, was at the docks, and so they kind of did the same thing with Daredevil here, doing their like kind of human trafficking thing, and I like that. But they give you enough story in between to really kind of lay out, then flesh out who Matt Murdock is, what's going on with him in that part, and then they kind of bring it around at the end. You give you like a bit of a more action sequence, and what I like about it also is that you're getting enough character development throughout. And one of my favorite character developments was done entirely off screen, and that's the development for the Kingpin.
Oh yeah,
They haven't even said it yet. They haven't even said him yet.
I know.
But anybody who knows
Anything about Daredevil?
Yes. And what's awesome about that is that they did everything off screen. In fact, it was at the closing segments of the show you finally heard his voice over the phone call. Excuse me, we're sipping on some drinks here.
Water is delicious.
Mine looks like filtered water that got poured back out. It's Monster Rehab, folks.
They don't sponsor us if they wanted to. That'd be cool.
Oh, yeah.
I like Monster.
Oh, yeah. They should be paying me as much as I buy their stuff. At least give me a few free cans. But back to what I was saying. For the entire episode, they're sort of talking about what's going on. In fact, they allude to a certain incident that happened in the movie as to why real estate prices went down. And I loved that because it didn't like, oh, that was a major plot. It was just the backdrop. The world goes on, right? Mm-hmm. And so that they just said, oh, yeah, that happened. And then this construction company pretty much made bank. And I loved how throughout the episode you saw like, little influences of the Kingpin coming in, and you can get a sense of this guy's pretty powerful. But then you realize how powerful he is because pretty much anyone who was involved, like they end up, spoilers.
Folks, we really do apologize, but
okay, no.
You think we can?
No, I'm okay. I won't spoil it. You know what, guys? This is brand new. I won't spoil it, but let's just say that his influence is definitely felt, and you realize how powerful this son of a bitch is by the end of this damn episode.
True.
To know that he's going to be a threat.
True.
So
now,
there it is.
We haven't even talked about the other thing that happens in the episode, and that's this young girl who has a really unfortunate fate of coincidences, I would say. To start, we find her covered in blood, holding a knife, a dead man in front of her in her own apartment, and she has no clue what's going on, but the cops are rushing in.
Yeah.
And she is booked as a potential murderer. We're going to maybe possibly see a trial. And Murdock and Foggy...
But she was never charged.
She was never officially charged, it's true. But and this is just giving him a little small sample here. One of the really cool things I found in this thing was that Matt and Foggy go in to... They're telling her that they're going to represent her. And Matt asks, did you do that? Did I need to know the truth? Mm-hmm. And he doesn't even hear the words she's saying. It's all in her heartbeat because of how his senses are so heightened. Yeah. And it's steady throughout. She's being genuine. She's not, lying and saying she's innocent. She's innocent from this thing.
They even revisit that later on. And he can tell when someone's lying.
Correct.
By that same token. Now, what's interesting, and I'll go into episode 2 just for this one time, but I'm not going to spoil anything. They do that again, but they don't actually go into him and like that way. You hear what he hears, you can just know that he can do that. And so he's in a situation where he's like, no, he's lying. He knows he's lying, and then that
it's because he can hear the heart.
Because we've already been introduced to it, and they don't make you... It's not like a trope that they do every single time. Yes, they'll probably revisit it down the line, but they don't...
Or especially if they don't use it, consistently.
Yes, but, that he can do it because they've already, introduced the idea. So I like that a lot. I like the flashbacks because they tell his origin story, but they don't dwell on it too much. They tell you just enough for you to piece it together.
What a hell of an introduction to Daredevil. That opening scene is so powerful. I mean, they just lay the feels right on you.
I know.
Smack you in the nuts right at the very beginning of the series. You're finding out essentially the birth of why Matt Murdock is blind and his origin.
And you're also getting a sense on just how good of a heart this person has.
Exactly.
Because they say it right in the very beginning. The old guy, he saved my life, and he's just a boy.
And he's a hero, you know.
Yes, he is, and that's just kind of person he is. But I kind of had this conversation as well with somebody else, with Nick. But it's kind of interesting because what? Oh, okay.
Sorry,
He threw
folks,
me off.
I'm making motions with my hands. I'm just go ahead, Brandon. I apologize.
Okay. So we talked about this, and we talked about how essentially, yes, Batman and Daredevil are pretty similar, but Batman has moved on past his pain, I guess, to where by the time Batman is Batman, he is well seasoned and trained, and he's going for justice. Daredevil's going for justice, but he also is at a point where it's like, what if Batman came back and hadn't gone through the training and been come back stoic? Daredevil has something to prove. He likes fighting. He actually does like fighting, but he doesn't like hurting people.
True.
Okay, but also is like, he wants to do good, and he does find some sort of weird pleasure in it, and he is kind of angry at the same time. He's still angry, and this is how he lets it out, and this is how he does it by doing good and stopping bad people.
Correct.
But it's also to a point of, and like the opening scene, he's breaking bones.
Yes.
He's breaking bones, and Batman will do that to stop you if you're going to hurt someone or him. If you need to be stopped, he's going to stop you, but Batman will try to leave you as unharmed as possible.
Correct.
And Daredevil's like, snap.
Yeah, not even a question.
Yeah, I know. So that's where the characters are different, and I do like that. It makes him a very interesting character because when he's playing Matt Murdock, he's very much the feeble. Like, oh, I'm blind. Oh yeah, hi, And it is sort of put on a little bit, but they don't know that other side of him at all. It's kind of like how when Batman is Bruce Wayne, he's acting like he's this rich playboy billionaire. He's like, I'm having fun on the arm of a model, but that's not who he is. And it does seem put on. And for Daredevil, it seems a little put on.
It seems more subtle though.
But it is more subtle because it seems natural that a blind guy would be a little bit like, kind of more feeble and like fragile, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, first episode, out of 5 stars.
4.5.
Easily 4.5.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I mean, I thought it was fantastic. I think it was a great pilot. I think it did everything that it should do. It introduced every single main person, and it gave you a good idea of who the Matt Murdock character is. And when you watch episode 2, you'll get a better idea of what the Daredevil character is.
Oh, cool.
So I mean, that's just. And
when do you think? I mean, if you were to guess, when do you think we get the red suit? Last episode at the very end? Is it maybe episode 11, or is it in the middle?
I kind of just spoiled myself a minute ago because when I was looking up, getting the articles for our news topics that we wanted to talk about for the beginning of the show.
Oh no!
I saw the review that IGN put up for the season finale.
Okay.
And they gave it like a 9 point something.
Jesus.
And one of the pluses was, spoilers, red suit. So I pretty much that. And unfortunately, that spoiled it for me. But if that's the case, that's awesome because the majority of the first season is going to be him in the black.
Which is cool. You get to build up to the...
Yes.
It's not like they jerk you off right away, man.
And all of a sudden, he's just, full suit up. And I thought about this, and I joked about this the other day as well with Nick. And it's funny because if he did his whole little thing, and
I'll straight up suck that Metal Gear dick.
Oh, Nick, when'd you get here?
Oh yes, that's our official button. We took it upon Brandon did all the work, and I just put it on Dropbox, whatever. But we took it upon ourselves to take that from the Nerds of the Round Table episode, where Nick was babbling on about how much that he.
I'll straight up suck that Metal Gear dick.
And such is history. So that's our button. It's our first official show button. You'll be hearing that whenever we fucking feel like it, because, yeah.
I'll straight up suck that Metal Gear dick.
That's great.
Okay.
Anyway, to get back on topic, we all know how much Daredevil is into his senses, and he can see and smell it to the point where he doesn't need. Did I say see? He can hear and smell. I didn't mean see. He can't see. He's Daredevil. But what I was saying is that he can hear and smell so good that he doesn't need to see. Essentially, because his brain fills in the rest, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so he wears this nice black getup. Now, what if? Okay, he wasn't that in tune yet. He doesn't know it's black. What if he doesn't know it's? What if like he made a deal with a guy? He goes, "Is this black? Yeah, sure."
It's
So
pink.
It's hot pink, or like it's like neon green or like yellow. Or he looks like a damn road sign. He like reflective. He's like hanging out in the shadows, and this guy goes, "What the hell are you doing?" "Oh, you see me, dude? You're fucking like blinking." Like, son of a bitch.
Now I have a great question. Do you think he has to shop with someone like he really fucking trusts?
Dude, okay, I don't know exactly how he is tailored. I mean, obviously, the guy that runs the gym, because there's a scene, was that the first episode?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I kind of
Where he gives him the key, right?
Yeah, and he kind of goes in and kind of like trains after hours. So obviously they have some sort of rapport, and you'll learn more about that in a second episode. But yeah, I definitely want to know how he gets the black suit. How it's not like he's sitting there drawing it like Spider-Man does
Every time.
He's like, I'm just drawing my. It's like, can you imagine if he's that awesome and he can like sit there and draw, and then Foggy walks in, goes, "What are you doing?" "No, nothing. I'm just, I'm just moving things."
Trying to take notes, but I forgot.
Forgot I'm blind. Oh yeah. And then it just raises red flags. I'm not sure how he does that. Now,
Did you mean to do that? Red flags?
No.
Oh, that was awesome.
But I love the Daredevil series, and I can't wait to watch the third one. I think, but after we get in with our long ride, if she's up for it, I want to watch the third one.
We'll probably have watched the next two by the time you guys get home, honestly.
Yeah, so
they're like 51-minute long episodes, but man, they tell a lot of good story.
They're a little bit longer because obviously a normal TV episode's about 40 minutes. So with the commercials, it equals about an hour. But with Netflix, no commercials, so you can spend more time, and it makes the episodes a little bit longer.
Fact.
So yeah, Daredevil. I guess the only other thing I wanted to say about that was the sound design.
Yeah, and we had talked about that today in the car.
Yeah.
It's very spot on, and I think that's a beautiful thing to have. That the show is about a blind guy who has heightened senses, and his hearing is so great. So the audio being such a star of the show is really kind of an awesome like tip of the hat to Daredevil.
I know, yeah.
And it has kind of got a little bit of the heavy comic book sound, but it works with what kind of story they're telling.
It does. And I guess the last thing I would say here is that it is rated TVMA. So it's not necessarily child friendly. I mean, I guess you could do parental guidance, but there was side boob in the first episode.
There was.
Because she took off her shirt right in front of him. And basically with the way he is, he pretty much saw her tits.
Yeah.
I mean, it just... I personally think it would have been really funny is that when she did that, he kind of went... just kind of snickered a little bit, because she just kind of like, he gave her like a dry shirt, and she's just like, "Oh, I'll just shake. Oh, he's blind. He can't see me." Like,
what a great assumption. What if he was the best bullshitter on earth, though? Like,
that's another thing I want to talk about. I'm glad you said that, because there was one thing I want to tip my hat to. What's the guy that's playing Murdoch? I can't remember his name. Cox. Was that his name?
Oh, Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox. I want to tip my hat to this guy because, okay, when he's sitting on the couch and talking to her later on in the episode, he takes off his sunglasses and he's doing this blank stare. He's not looking at her face. He's just sort of like over here. And he's looking like, it's almost like if I was looking at you and my eyes were just kind of over here and I'm talking to you. But sometimes when you see somebody playing a blind person, they automatically just look at their face.
Yeah.
And he totally was not. Now, granted, he could have done that because he's Daredevil. And he could just he could easily find her face, and even I'll even let it pass for sometimes, because then you see, if you're hearing, you're gonna find exactly where it's going, and your face is gonna go there. But your eyes are not gonna focus, obviously, because people. They can't. But I want to give him a tip of the hat for just giving that really good blank eye stare, and not, his eyes are not like,
They weren't wandering.
exactly. And I loved that. I thought that was a neat little thing that they did.
Okay, Brandon, so I'm going to ask you a question before we continue on with any other things that we're going to try to discuss.
Yo.
What was our time frame on this episode before we start the Spidey Riff Trax?
The time frame?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I was going to ask you about that before we started, but then we just started.
We kind of just did it. So,
Where are we at now, bud?
25 minutes.
Oh, dude, we're good.
Okay.
Oh, no. We're good.
Okay, score. So
basically,
what's next?
guys, how we're going to do this is that we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. We got a couple of topics. And then we're going to start the Spider-Man riff track, and we're going to stop at about a little ways in, and then we're going to put up part 2 in like a couple weeks after next week's episode.
Next week's super awesome special episode is going to be the first ever Journey into Comic Club. Like how I did that, Journey into Comic Club.
There you go.
Just on the fly right there, folks. That's creation. But Journey into Comic Club is going to be doing a first ever review of a graphic novel or series, which obviously graphic novels are just publications of an entire story.
Yeah.
So we're covering Secret Wars from 1984, 1985, and it's very topical considering they're getting ready to do the new Secret Wars.
Yeah.
We figured we'd cover the original, and we were supposed to do it today, but procrastination, as we said earlier. So next week we will be doing that. And actually, the guy that created this idea, he didn't name it. I guess I did that for him. But the guy that created Journey into Comic Club happens to be our good friend Shuddy Boy from Mad Scientist Party Hour. He will be on the show when we do the Secret Wars Comic Club episode. And I'm really looking forward to it. There's a lot of cool things we can discuss.
Oh, yes.
Odd occurrences, things that didn't translate through time. They didn't age well.
Right. And you're going to have that with any time period, of course. I mean, it's just going to happen. Any writer who's going to write is going to write what's relevant, so that the way the more current people can read it. But, yeah, we were going to do that today, and we were trying to finish up the books. And basically we were making Shuddy Boy wait. And he had plans, and we decided, you know what, we'll just reschedule. And I burped my rehab again.
we figured, let's be pros about this. Brandon and I can create an episode on the fly if we have to. We don't always have to stick to plans. We always have a million ideas for episodes we want to do anyways. So Brandon's here in Studio C. Let's just fucking do whatever we want, and this is what we came up with.
Oh, yeah.
So you're hearing us in the raw. We're just literally talking about topics. There's not been any real research done. Some of these things I'm not even that well-versed in, but that's okay.
Yeah,
we're going to just continue through, and we're learning together, folks, and we're listening.
Yeah. I picked a couple of topics, and they're all related to movies. Some are comic book related. I do have a couple articles brought up just for reference, so I don't get anything wrong.
Totally.
And my phone is... Whoa, dude. That, man.
That was a water burp.
I actually want to get into this before my phone dies, because I have a list. So I'm actually going to rearrange just a couple of these up.
Just do what you do, man.
So
I'm following your lead.
This week, there was a news... the Star Wars HD for the digital got released, and they took out the 20th Century Fox logo because now they don't have a right, or the production right, or the release right, or
the distribution rights.
Distribution, there it is.
And yeah.
Well, anyway, I guess it's still on episode 4 because they still have it for that one, but for all the other ones they don't, because that was, of course, was the original. But
different contract in '77.
Yes,
it was the best contract they thought they would get at the time, and then it became a classic, and the rest is history. They protected themselves, but they couldn't change the original contract.
So for the digital release, they don't have that. They just have a redone version of the Lucasfilm. It just shows a Lucasfilm, a logo, instead of doing the long little, like, the drum beat, for the 20th Century Fox, which I absolutely love the drum beat, dude. I went to the theater and saw episode 1 and 3. And even when you're watching at home, when you're getting ready you always watch that, and it goes right into the Star Wars crawl, right? And because that's just the pump up. You're like, yeah, here it comes. Because all the trailers are done. If you're watching in theater, it's like, a long time ago. It just flowed so well. But now they're going to put up. They have the new one for the digitals, and this makes us wonder: is this the way it's just going to be for episode 7 coming out this year? And actually, we have the music. We actually it's on YouTube, so just search Lucasfilm Star Wars new Lucasfilm opening. It's like the first one. It's like 11 seconds. But we're going to go ahead and play the replacement. So let's do that. Yeah.
I don't know. Now, interestingly enough, should we play the other one that you found that's unofficial?
Oh, well,
It's pretty cool, but
it's pretty cool, but it does have a lot of visual gags.
yeah,
And basically, it's like it integrates the Walt Disney, like the opening for like Pirates and stuff like that. They use this and like the animated movies, and it's where it comes out and it shows the castle. But then they do a lot of like a weird couple like animated things that they do with it, and I thought it sounded badass myself.
it did it, and it touched on Disney's rights, Lucasfilms, Bad Robot.
yeah.
Like, it hit on everything, and they kind of had their own little moment to shine. It was done very creatively.
Yeah, whoever did that, props.
Absolutely.
Now, the other thing for Star Wars I want to talk about was the rumors of the trailer that's going to be coming out with Age of Ultron. Now, these are going to have spoilers, people. And these are all rumors, but they could be spoilerific. So, if you don't want to know anything about the Episode 7 movie, I'd fast forward maybe about 2 minutes. And if you still hear us talking about Star Wars, fast forward another 30 seconds until we stop talking about Star Wars.
That's good. There's a 15-second jump button if you're using it on iTunes, which we're on iTunes, Brandon.
We are on iTunes. And I think Podcast Addict has it's like 30 seconds. But all right, so these are apparently, all this is rumor, but the reports that the trailer will include just under 2 minutes, classic characters such as Han, Leia, R2, and 3PO, Yavin. We see a shot of Finn with a blue lightsaber, which Finn is played by John Boyega. There is a brief shot of Captain Phasma, rumored Chrome Trooper. We see Kylo Ren's helmeted face. And please forgive me if I botch any of these names. I've actually never heard some of these names said. Poe Dameron. We see Poe Dameron, which is Oscar Isaac, the actor playing him.
He's also Apocalypse.
Oh,
for X-Men: Age of Apocalypse.
Anyway, we see. I lost my spot. Poe Dameron. We see him shoot down a TIE fighter. There is a shot of Finn and Poe walking past one another at the base. Rey, Daisy Ridley, is in a few shots. There's a shot of Poe, R2, 3PO, and a CGI character. BB-8, which is, I believe that was the
soccer ball droid.
Yeah, is socketed in the back of an X-Wing. Kylo Ren's Imperial shuttle flies by with TIE fighter escorts to a Star Destroyer. More Star Destroyers. I'm reading things, they're like just a list. The Millennium Falcon is seen again. X-Wing fighters flying in a V-shaped formation. This is my favorite one. Darth Vader's helmet sitting on a podium. And
hopefully someone didn't fast forward to exactly right then.
Hope not. Was that exactly 2 minutes?
It was pretty damn close. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, and the last two are not spoilers, but no Andy Serkis, no Luke Skywalker. So they give you just enough to leave you wanting more.
Allegedly.
And I want to reiterate, this is all just rumored that someone has seen this.
Have you heard the other spoilerific Star Wars rumor? I almost dare not speak it because of how horrendous it is. But, okay, all I will say is it is rumored that a major character will die at the hands of Kylo Ren.
I've heard that as well.
And I desperately hope not. But at the same time, it would make that movie so impactful.
That's just the thing. As I actually did say that to a friend of mine at work, is a big Star Wars nut. The thing that would be the event that spearheads 2 more movies. So it's just that. I want to have these. I want to see the old characters get good moments, but
Yeah.
they've had their time.
True.
And so
This is I mean, look at this. Episode 7, we are already almost predicting, has to have a very, episode 4, I mean, important character
it's
death.
similar
I mean,
vein.
do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, with Obi-Wan.
I mean, but totally different,
Yeah.
you know, in its own right. So, maybe it's great for the movie. Honestly, I'm just gonna wait and see. This is the one movie that they can wow me, however they're gonna wow me.
I'm excited because it's going to be like going into it fresh. It's almost going to be, there's going to be enough old stuff to keep you happy, but the story's going to be new, and there's going to be so many new characters. Like it's almost as if you're going into it blind, like you were going back in the 70s to see episode 4. Because the prequels, you already knew how the prequels are going to sort of end. It's going to focus on Anakin.
I mean, they have to end a certain way
To lead into 4. They don't have to end a certain way with these. They can go, guess what? We're gonna acknowledge the past and say that happened, of course. And of course, we're gonna bring in some of those guys back. It's gonna bring a lot of old fans back to see that. But going forward, it's all new and it's all original. In fact, I want to say that another rumor I heard is that they are pushed that people from Disney have seen this movie in its current cut, and they are pushing for Abrams to direct the third one.
Whoa.
Because they already have the director for the second one, for episode 8. So they want Abrams back for 9, I heard.
Man, what an honor.
I know.
Do you hope that these movies spawn maybe an expanded universe, Shadows of the Empire-esque film to be told?
Well, they are doing, in between the years, they're doing offshoot films.
The one-offs. You've got your Rogue One, which is obviously going to probably be the story of the life of someone who's in an X-Wing.
Dude, that's amazing.
That's awesome because it's a pilot movie, you know, and it could be really brilliantly
It's like
told.
Star Wars Top Gun.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, in a way.
And then you're going to have a rumored Boba Fett solo movie, which could be just kick-ass.
It could be.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Just imagine like John Wick.
Yeah.
But Boba Fett.
I've also heard potential rumors of a Yoda.
That would be cool to see. I mean,
You would
that
definitely
movie
be-
is a
yeah.
prequel.
Yeah, it would be a prequel. And in fact, for me personally, I'd put it way before the prequels.
Oh, set young Yoda.
Young Yoda, or, you know, whatever. Maybe closer to the old Republic, you know, because obviously he's been around for 900 years. But I'm really excited for where they're going. Now, another movie that's getting brought back, Independence Day.
Fuck yes.
Now, they're...
Except for, real quick, one bitch real quick?
Bitch away.
Fuck you, Will Smith. You greedy, stupid, greedy motherfucker. You could have made something really epic. Really special, too. And you bitched out, so fuck you.
But yet he's dead shot.
Which, goddamn it, that gives us credit right back. Man.
Yeah. Anyway, the newest news for this is that Brent Spiner is back. Of course, he plays, his biggest role was Data from Star Trek. But he also played, and I got to say his name, I got to read it so I can get it right, Dr. Brakish Okun, or Okun.
Dr. Okun.
Dr. Okun. He was the head scientist at Area 51 that the alien used to talk through him to the president, right? He is back.
Didn't he die? Are we led to believe? Because you know what? That's something I've always said in Independence Day. You never fucking found out whether he died or not. The thing threw him, and then
You assumed everybody in the room was dead.
exactly.
Yeah, and they never reveal it. So I guess he's alive. Unless they made a clone of him. I don't know. But like what you said, didn't he die? And that harkens me back to National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1 when... I trying to remember his name now. The big, fat Jewish comedian. Dead air. Pregnant pause.
I don't know, man.
What's his name?
John Lovitz?
John Lovitz.
That's who you're thinking of?
Yeah, John Lovitz.
Okay, correct.
He was playing a parody of Joe Pesci.
Yes, okay.
And he got shot and killed, and they put him in a body bag, and because he's like, tell me, am I going to make it? And they throw him in he goes, you're going to be just fine. And they zip it up and throw him in the box, or the van.
Throw him in the box in the van.
So he's dead, and then he comes back in during the Killer Instinct. No, Basic Instinct.
Basic Instincts.
Killer Instinct.
SNES.
Oh yeah, but during the Basic Instinct interrogation scene, he comes back, and they're like, "Didn't you die?" He goes, "I thought this was the sequel." So apparently, Britt Spiner's doing the same thing.
Awesome.
But you know what? I want to say that they are doing a double sequel with this.
Like filming 2 sequels at once, and
yeah.
to tell 2 stories.
Well, it's actually going to be one story
one-
split in 2.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Brent Spiner's back. He joins Jeff Goldblum. He's back. And Vivica A. Fox is back.
Awesome.
And newcomers, Jesse A. Usher, Liam Hemsworth, and Charlotte Gainsbourg. I don't know her.
And I only know Liam Hemsworth. I think he's in The Hunger Games, but I know he's Thor's brother.
He is, yes. Independence Day 2 hits theaters on June 24th, 2016.
Huh.
And basically, if this goes what I've heard, which it may change, because I want to say I heard this like a year ago, where this is what the idea was. So they may have changed it since then, is that to the aliens, this is right after. Like, when the mothership exploded, they sent a distress signal. The aliens got it and rushed here. But to us, it's like 20 years later.
Oh my God, that's genius. That's actually really smart. Because we're unsuspecting. We don't think anything about it. To bring those same aliens back into it, and they would bring the cavalry, obviously, if their ship sent a distress signal and they easily steamroll everywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so that instantly got me. Now, Will Smith, unfortunately, I swear he should have been in this because it would have. But you know what? Screw it. Because if he didn't want to be in it, that's his choice, and
True.
I can respect it. But I also heard that Bill Pullman's going to be in it. Of course, at this point, the retired president.
Former president of the United States of
Also, the
America.
most badass president in almost any movie we've had.
Probably the greatest speech ever in movie history. I mean, it's pretty great.
Well, from a president, I mean, probably.
I mean, right.
But
He's
yeah,
pretty epic.
yeah.
There are a lot of funny inconsistencies with the first Independence Day.
Yeah.
Like do you ever see the newspaper? Middle of July, she's reading the newspaper, and there's a cold front going across the entire map of the United States of America, but we're in July. So it's like blue and snowy across, you know?
Maybe that's like...
What?
Wait, hold on now. Wait just a damn minute.
What?
Okay, who directed that? Roland Emmerich?
Yeah.
Didn't he direct Day After Tomorrow?
Yeah.
What happens the day after tomorrow? Cold front goes across the entire country. That son of a bitch.
He put a Easter egg.
And then what else did he direct? 2012.
2012.
That son of a bitch.
Oh.
So what's going to happen is like the alien's going to come back and the whole world's dead anyway.
Yep. Everyone's already dead.
Everyone's dead.
There's like 7 scragglers. They're just like, fuck it, kill me. We don't care.
Dude.
We didn't want to kill each other because we're friends and shit. But
What's funny is that Randy Quaid is also just as crazy now as he was in that damn movie that he played.
well, he better not be in the sequel.
I never heard anything about it.
Okay.
I believe he's still homeless, but I don't know for sure.
Really?
You ever heard about that?
No.
He was homeless and he was squatting in some property that he used to own.
Wow.
And then him and his wife made a video. Did you hear about that? Where he put the owner of Fox News Corporation. I can't remember his name right now. I'm so sorry. But he put the mask on his wife and proceeded to screw his wife on camera. So he's screwing the president of Fox News Corporation.
What?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously. So he's just as crazy in real life as the character that he played in that movie.
Weird.
But yeah, guys, Independence Day sounds pretty cool. I'm actually all for this movie being made. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be good. It's got the same director, the same writer, because he wrote and directed it, and maybe I don't know if the other writer is aboard as well. But without Will Smith, I think it still can be a damn good movie. Is it going to be another fighter pilot type movie, or are they going to do something else with it?
And they could tell a totally different story.
Exactly, and that was kind of my thought of it as well.
You need to not forget, though, Jeff Goldblum saved us from both aliens and the dinosaurs.
And he's a fucking fly.
And he's a motherfucking fly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What's next, Brando?
All right, dude. So we got those out of the way. These next ones, I don't need my phone for because they are all stuff that we came up with together. But so just recently, and this is kind of older news for us, but the whole Deadpool reveal.
Ryan Reynolds as a Deadpool on a bearskin rug in front of a fireplace. It's my background on the computer.
Is it?
Yeah, it really is.
I think it's Blaine's as well.
It's amazing. I mean, it's hilarious. The costume looks stellar.
It does. It looks pretty good.
But let's continue on through what has all happened since we've not really been covering current stuff. We've been doing a lot of different cool things.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to cover it because we had some other podcasts that we did with some friends. So,
so April Fool's happened.
Yeah.
And that was a couple days before Easter, or Zombie Jesus Day, or the blood of Christ is in my butt. That's holiday bullshit too. Listen to it. It's really funny, I promise. It'll make you giggle at least.
Ironic as fuck.
It is ironic as fuck. So on April Fool's Day, Mario Lopez from Saved by the Bell, also known as
AC Slater?
Slater, correct. Interviewed for Extra one Ryan Reynolds, who was trying to talk about Deadpool, and it was, at first you watch it and you start to, it seems like, hey, it's just a normal interview, everything's normal, and then it seems that Mario Lopez is poking fun at the bad things that have been about Deadpool, him being an X-Men Origins Wolverine where he looked like a fucking weird ass muted samurai,
Right, and then the whole idea that the movie's going to be PG-13.
So then the best thing happens while he's talking to Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool shows up behind him and hits him with what looked like a giant fucking air conditioner, maybe?
I think it was a light. It was from the lighting rig.
Oh. So he hits him with a light and then says, "Fuck you, Slater." And then it says, Deadpool will be rated R, which is awesome. That's a great way to do the reveal.
It was pretty cool because it was like an April Fool's type thing.
So we've seen more stuff from Deadpool.
Yeah. Some like leaked photos.
We've seen that it looks like they're going to do the Wade Wilson origin story over.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see a homeless Wade Wilson looking character become a Weapon X project and then quickly become the hilarious face fucker known as Deadpool, I guess.
I've heard something cool about this is that they actually have dots around his eyes on the mask, and they're gonna go back and post and re-edit like the animations for the white eyes to give it more emotion.
Correct.
Because it's not just gonna be like this faceless dead mask. His eyes, kind of like in the animated series for like Batman, where they told a lot of stories with his white eyes, the different reactions that you can do. They're gonna do the same thing with this.
And I mean that's how Deadpool's stories are, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes are his lack thereof of emotions, or ironic punchlines, which is awesome. It's going to be really good. I have nothing but high hopes. It's funny because Fox is slowly starting to redeem me on the Fantastic Four. I don't know if I said that to you yet, but
no, you haven't.
They're slowly chipping away and making, like, the more I hear about it, the more the actors can finally talk about it and say things like, yes, we will have the original costumes. It would be a travesty for our movie to not do that. They're slowly chipping away, but at the same time, Fox is going, here's Deadpool, and we know what you fucking want.
Right. Well, see, they redeemed me with Days of Future Past. I thought that film was fantastic.
It was absolutely fantastic.
And what's funny is that they had wronged me as a fan of the X-Men so much that I didn't want to watch First Class. And seeing that, and that's funny because I went into that not seeing First Class. I honestly, the trailer looked awesome, and I wanted to see Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen on the same screen again because I love those two guys, and I think they're fantastic together.
Absolutely.
Whatever, but seeing that movie made me want to go back and watch First Class, and I did, and I thought it was fantastic. So they've won me over with that. I want to see the Apocalypse movie, and of course with Deadpool, they're bringing that around. I hope they can do the same thing with Fantastic Four, and because the trailers. Or the one trailer that I've seen. I haven't seen the newer one.
I haven't seen the newer one yet either, actually, surprisingly.
But it didn't really win me over. It just made me go, maybe. But I hope it's good. And I hope that by them doing that, yes, Marvel doesn't have those properties. But as long as they're doing good with them, I'm okay with it,
Yeah, and with Sony and Marvel making this treaty,
Yeah.
you know that if Fantastic Four ends up bombing, that they're going to turn to Marvel and go, okay, fine. We can't get this property right, and we don't know why. Take it.
I hope so. Obviously, they're not going to do that with X-Men. They've got a few more miles to go with that, but with Fantastic Four, hopefully. But as far as Deadpool goes, I think rated R is the only way to go for that character.
Correct. And you know what's awesome? At some point, you're going to get a Deadpool edition of the Blu-ray that's going to be like the Deadpool cut.
Yeah.
Where it's even gorier, even fucking more cussing.
I would love to see, because, Deadpool is notorious for knowing that he's in a comic book.
And he's breaking the fourth wall.
He's breaking the fourth wall, and I want to see him break the fourth wall in the movie a lot. But I would love to see, like, for you to be like the Deadpool cut of the movie, have him like come out of the corner of the movie, like, "Hey guys, how you doing? How you doing?"
Are you still watching this fucking thing?
Dude, this scene is fucking awesome. Check this out. Oh, dude. It's almost like pop-up video. I would love to see them do like the Deadpool commentary track, which is
featuring him in the actual movie, affecting it. That'd be amazing.
I think that'd be funny, but I'm really looking forward to it now. I mean, not that I wasn't before, but now that it's confirmed rated R, it's like this is gonna be one of the first rated R comic movies since Blade.
Yeah.
Or was Punisher? Punisher wasn't rated R.
Warzone was, but it was
was.
not very. I mean, I didn't like it that much.
I didn't like it either.
I think Thomas Jane would be awesome if he came back as Punisher, though.
Yeah, but I can understand why he didn't. It's a lot of commitment.
Hold on, who said that he didn't? Marvel has the rights back. They are lobbying to get him to be.
Well, see, the reason why he didn't do the second one, and they changed it, is because he was gonna do it, and then he was thinking about all of because he got in stellar shape for the first one, and that's a lot of work. Yeah. So that's why he backed out of it. And yeah, I would love to see him back because I thought he did a good job. But anyway, I think we got a few more. That is my phone, isn't it?
I think so.
That doesn't happen to me.
Oops.
We got two more things to talk about, and then we're going to go ahead with this Spider-Man Riff Track. Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah. This has got a lot of news. Suicide Squad. We have the first picture of the team.
Yeah.
Except for there's one person missing. And I think I just put two and two together. And when I say it, you're going to... Okay, so follow me. We got to see a picture of everyone who's going to be in the Suicide Squad. Sans Jared Leto.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. But then what did we get the very next day? A picture of Jared Leto holding a camera. He took the picture. Not legitimately. Or maybe legitimately. Your mind is blown?
You said I was going to go poof, so I'm going poof.
Okay, cool. So it makes sense, though, right?
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. And what's funny, what is really funny, okay, so he was actually holding like a picture camera?
I'm pretty sure, right?
So was that recreating the cover of
Killing Joke?
Yes.
That was the point.
Yeah.
They were mimicking that. Now, I'm going to kind of double tangent here, and it's going to still involve Suicide Squad, but there's a rumor that it will either be in Batman v Superman, or it will be something that is flashbacked in Suicide Squad and or future movies, that the Jason Todd death at the hands of the Joker will be happening.
I've heard about that for Batman v Superman, and
that's why there's a discord between Harley and Joker in the Suicide Squad.
Interesting.
Why they aren't seeing on the same level, because she cannot physically understand how someone she thought was this one thing would take it to a whole different level that she's not okay with.
All right. That's interesting. I do know, I've heard that event has already happened in Batman v Superman. I want to say that because they're going very, with the suit and with the character, it's very inspired by The Dark Knight Returns.
And that has been a recurring theme. I think every teaser and things we get for Batman v Superman somehow do or do not directly have something to do with Batman, or not Superman. God damn it. I got tongue-tied. The Dark Knight Returns.
Yes, and hopefully they don't, I'm glad that they aren't going too old with him, because then he can still be around. Because obviously Dark Knight Returns, he was like 50-something.
Yeah.
And obviously Ben Affleck isn't that, so it's a little bit before. But he's still an older cat, so...
It's crazy, though, because you think about it. Downey Jr., when most of the cinematic universe he'll be a part of is done, he will have played Stark for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay? And he was in his late 40s. Affleck is, I think, just turned 40 or not quite 40.
I think he's early 40s.
And so he can play Bruce and Batman for a long time.
And lead up to like a Dark Knight Returns
Type. I
movie.
mean, well, I think we're going to see that is essentially what we're getting on screen for Batman v Superman.
Well, okay. They've also released the picture of Lex Luthor,
Correct.
which I totally forgot about. That
Jesse Eisenberg,
Yeah.
bald as hell.
He looks badass to me.
Looks so badass, though.
I was surprised.
Yeah, because he doesn't look like an innocent kid anymore.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. The kid that's in 30 Minutes or Less, and he was in Zombieland
Yeah.
and The Social Network, these kind of movies, like that Jesse Eisenberg versus Lex Luthor, it's two different people. And that's pretty kick-ass.
Yeah. I was really excited to see that. And then was it you that told me that they're not going to go with him kind of portraying a different Lex Luthor to the public?
Correct. He's not going to put on this bullshit facade like, your Gene Hackmans and your Kevin Spacey. Was
Oh,
the
yeah. He
more
was
recent Lex Luthor.
Superman Returns. I forgot about that.
So this will be interesting. So Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman all kind of tying into each other. I think Leto could very well make a great Joker. I just don't know. He's a pretentious cunt. I need to say it. He is. He really is. He's so full of himself. Like, it's ridiculous. If you follow him on Instagram and you look at him, he's just... If there's a way that you could suck your own dick, he's probably figured it out, because that's just how into himself he is.
Well, I mean, that notwithstanding, that's not going to judge on the kind of character that he can play.
Exactly. And that's something I was getting ready to come back to is, as much as I criticize him, I look at roles like when he was in Panic Room.
Yeah.
And you don't even know that's Jared Leto. He looks like a completely different person, and he acts different. He's good and great at being something else. And I mean, I give him props. He's a great actor. He's been in a lot of great roles. I just, the person is the thing I don't like about the character.
And you can have bad people be great actors.
Fact.
Yeah,
it's just a fact.
I'm not going to give you an example because I'm totally brain farted on that right now.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
But
so that's everything.
No, there's one more.
What?
And this is going to be our lead-in to our Spider-Man Riff Track.
Yes, I totally forgot.
You just said while we were trying to cram in the Secret War books and then decided not to do it. A little bit of news, so I'll let you lead with it.
So, folks, it seems that there's no more speculation. As much as I really was hoping and praying we were going to get a Miles Morales Spider-Man, Kevin Feige came out and definitively said, without question, that their Spider-Man will be a teenaged Peter Parker. That means we are going to see still in high school Parker, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't say enough. We don't even know who's going to be Spider-Man yet.
Right, yeah, no.
And I mean, with that being said, there's just so many different things that are on the horizon for the future of Marvel, and the fact that they're going to be able to hopefully write a really great story and be able to show how Marvel can do something so perfectly.
Well, to me, and I've said this since they announced their whole Spider-Man deal, we're going to see a shifting of the guard with some of these people who have been in these movies, and they're ready to move on. As big as these movies are, we're not going to see RDJ as Iron Man forever. Same with Chris Evans. It's just not going to happen. We may still get them for the Infinity War, but what about after that? They're going to transition into Spider-Man being the star, being the main guy. And while that's a bit different than, say, if they're going to do more Avenger stuff, because Spider-Man's never been the star of the Avengers. He's always been, oh, hey, I'm Spider-Man, I'll help out. And then more recently, actually a member. But Spider-Man is their bread and butter. So they're going to cast this character and lay him out early for him to sort of take over the reins, I feel, eventually.
Dude, I mean, whoever this kid, this teenager or young adult that's going to get this role is signing, I mean, their life to being Spider-Man. And that's great because that's something they're saying, okay, yes, I know that this is what I'm getting into. I know that this is a lot of people go insane playing the same character over and over and over and over and over. But if it's done well and the writing is done well and you can separate the person from the character, which modern society has gotten a lot better about that, I think.
Well, what's cool is that he's playing the character so young that they can potentially move on to other topics and as that character grows older, out of high school, early 20s, getting married, doing all this stuff. They can incorporate all that in there. Another thing that me and Nick talked about potentially, and there's no doubt in my mind that there's going to be more, but you can actually integrate this new Spider-Man character into the Daredevil show.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can have him show up, and it would be like, dude, yeah, okay, Spider-Man's here. And, of course, he's a young kid. So, and that's what they're going to insert Parker into, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which, of course, the Amazing Spider-Man movies have nothing to do with. This is going to be this is the Spider-Man. So you can they can do crossovers, and they can have him in an episode. Because how often does Spider-Man and Daredevil work together or hang out or they meet up, they cross over?
Kind of quite frequently, actually.
I mean, that's how I got accustomed to the Daredevil character in general. So
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's completely doable.
I had a point to make, a really stellar point, and in the moment, I lost it.
Did I take over and to steal it from you?
No, my brain just shut down for a second. It was very unfortunate. I was on point with you, and I had a great thing to say, folks. As I always say, it happens.
It does happen.
But I think now we're going to retire and get ready to start our Riff Trax.
We will. Yeah.
So I think we're going to take a quick breather here. For you guys, it's going to be mere seconds. For us, it's probably going to be at least 20 minutes setting up and getting things together. But for you, it's going to be a snap of the fingers. So we'll leave you with, one of these.
And we are back with that little bit of a snap of a finger. We are all set up now, ready to watch the original Spider-Man 2002, circa 2002.
Circa 2002. I saw this in theaters.
I did too. Were we together when you saw this, or did we see it separately?
I do not believe we had blossomed our cool friendship yet.
We saw the second one.
We did see the second. I do remember that. We also saw Punisher together. That was a weird day.
We did. No. Also, was another superhero movie we saw together. I want to say Blade Trinity.
Also true. Yeah.
But anyway, so I saw this in the theater. Me and my buddy Jason, and also another friend of yours, we saw this, and we always sat in the same seats all the time. And weirdly, we are sort of seated the opposite. We always sat along the left side of our theater. We had an old school theater with one screen, and it had a middle row and two side rows. And so we always sat slightly to the left and a couple rows back from the front. And so now we are slightly to the right and a couple rows back to the. So it's kind of funny, but.
All right. So, Brandon, how do we want to sync this for people? What do we want to tell them? Just.
Yeah. Okay. We're sitting here with the movie paused, and we couldn't get it to go lower than 000001. So that's where we are at. So start the movie with 1 second on the timer. We're for this episode, we're just going to go the first 30 minutes, and then part 2 will be the rest of the film, and we are going to put that up in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Don't forget to check out Secret Wars, folks, and enjoy our riff track.
Okay, so we are hitting play in 3, 2, 1.
Oh
no, we're not.
No, we're not. 'Cause the fucking controller shut off. Okay.
It's shut off because it's dying. So, okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1,
go.
It still fucking died. Oh nope, I got it.
All right, so we are officially going now.
Cool. You can hear a train.
The train is going by. The train is not in the movie, folks. We have we do have the audio paused, or the audio paused. Really, it's muted.
Mute. How do you get that shit off the screen though, Brando? Will it shut off?
Here, I'll get up.
Okay. With a dead ass controller. Right now, folks, we're currently seeing the Marvel lead-in screen.
This was one of the first times it was used, wasn't it?
Correct. I was in love with this intro back when this movie came out. The webs slowly shooting and building with all the, Marvel at the time was Enterprises. That's what they turned into studios.
Oh yeah, it's very well done. And it's funny because back then I didn't think so, but looking back on it, it's very interesting that they went with Sam Raimi to actually direct this.
Right? I mean, from the Army of Darkness series, Evil Dead's 1 and 2.
Yeah, he did a few other films, but he really wasn't proven in the modern. I mean, it was kind of interesting to go with. He had a certain style in some of his films, and so to translate that into a superhero film is interesting.
So one thing I just thought of, this is definitely like the launching point of the superstar known as James Franco. Like, this series really elevated him. He was on the Freaks and Geeks TV show, but it was after these movies that he was starting to get into the more funny roles and really to develop as a really great actor.
I like how they're showing the webbing, and it's like he's punching through the webbing, and it's like attaching to his suit. I really like that. Danny Elfman.
Yep.
Music by Danny Elfman. It's kind of funny because he was also associated with another superhero film franchise for at least 2 films.
Somebody else.
Oh yeah, I mean this movie. I remember the trailer with the World Trade Center, everything.
That was like the 2-minute teaser. The bank robbers. They take the helicopter. They're going up. Spidey's swinging. You don't see him. He builds a web in between the trade towers, and they slam into it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're hanging upside down, and then it zooms out, and you can clearly see the spider web that they're entangled in.
Yeah, and it was really neat because it was one of the first trailers at the time that it didn't really like show you bits of the movie. It was just a produced trailer that was just for the trailer.
Correct.
And it was done in a very like cinematic style. It wasn't no like quick cuts showing you quick little things. So I'm definitely liking paying attention to the intro, seeing the city skylines just now changed into that and kind of coming through. And
There he is, directed by Mr. Sam Raimi.
oh yes. And so now we zoom out. And so this is the part. Now they start the movie and also end the movie with him talking.
The monologue
Yeah.
to intro.
I liked how they zoomed out and there was this little, spider web in the corner there.
She made a really great Mary Jane Watson.
You know what? Honestly, yes, I actually do agree. Mainly because she is very girl next door, especially for this point in time, she hasn't had plastic surgery yet. I don't think
That fat kid with the jelly donut.
Yeah, that was disgusting. But okay, but I really agree with Mary Jane is that she's not supposed to be drop dead gorgeous. She's supposed to be girl next door.
Correct.
And so I think she really fits that bill, especially with the clothing design that they made for her as well. And of course, he's trying to get on the bus, and she lets him again. And they do a kind of a good job associating Peter with just being this clumsy sort of nerd. Nothing ever really goes his way.
He does kind of look a little old to be playing a high schooler, though.
Yeah, and then how old was he? Was he in his 20s yet?
I want to say he was like, maybe I can't fact check because my phone's way over there, and same with yours. So
Yeah.
we're not checking the facts right now,
We are
folks.
totally going off. Like we're almost off the grid for this.
That's awesome.
And that shot looks like it's directly from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah. Now, again, folks, with the thing that I'm kind of happy Marvel said, as we mentioned earlier, that they're not doing... Did I mention that? That was hey, do you remember that part that I forgot?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the fact that Kevin Feige has also come out and said that they will not be telling his origin story.
There you go.
They are set in stone, not doing it. So we are going to have an established Parker.
Do you think that they tried too hard to make Peter Parker awkward, or for the Tobey McGuire version?
A little bit, yeah. And there's Franco with Willem Dafoe.
He's awesome in this movie.
Willem Dafoe he should have won an Oscar for this, you know.
Oh, dude, it's great.
I don't know what he was up against in 2002.
I don't know either, but what's really neat is that they did a good job of actually making Franco really look like he's kind of related. You know, like he really could be the son with the hair. Yeah, he's got like the same almost hair, although Franco's a bit more curly. He kind of has the same kind of lanky build to him, and so they did a good casting job for that. And I really enjoy his portrayal of Norman.
Yeah, because he's a very genuine Norman Osborn, and he also has the anger that's very Norman Osborn.
And what's awesome is that, you know, this movie is diving in it really early, whereas the second set of movies, they sort of just kind of shoehorned it in my opinion. But they're getting it to where Norman really is impressed by, you know, by Peter, and he really is looking at him like, you know, not shunning his own son, but like, you know, I wish my son was more like you. And he sort of treats him that way because obviously, coming on later on in the movie, he sort of accepts him as family. And I loved how they touched on that.
Now, the great thing about this scene that we're in right now is that this was very much a modernized, almost shot-for-shot telling of the origins of Spider-Man from Amazing Fantasy 15, circa 1962, I do believe. Have to fact check me. I'm almost 100%. Anyways, the showing the spiders. It's always creeped me out. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big fan of spiders. So, interesting that Spider-Man's like one of my all-time favorite comic characters. You know.
Love how they're really establishing the really dick character really early on with
Flash Thompson.
Yeah, with Flash.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, for this film. Again, okay, yeah, they're kind of nudging him along, being the the other jerks, and of course they're gonna get some comeuppance.
But that Andrew Dice Clay looking guy, he looks too old to be a high school kid. I'm saying it again.
He does.
I mean, unless he failed like 37 goddamn times, and he just keeps going.
Now, who is the other guy? You know, not to be racist, but the black guy. Is he the teacher?
Yes, I think he's, or the,
He looks younger than the Dice Clay looking guy.
I agree. We're getting ready to see him again here. Coming up real soon. I kind of love the relationship between Harry and Pete. Because Pete's trying to be informative and, like, help him. And he's like, why are you telling me this? You know, what's the point?
I mean, it really gets across the fact that they're actually friends. Because
God, Mary Jane has hot cleavage. Can we just say it?
Well, I mean, that's not even the best shot that we get of those little bazungas. Bunzangas.
Bonzangas.
I like how he's using that same thing that he just learned from Peter to sort of hit on MJ.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you son of a bitch. I have a crush on her. She lives next door to me. You can impress her with your wallet.
I kind of disagree with this right here, where Mary Jane points out that there are only 14. I think it would have been odd if she would have, like, kind of said it understated to just, like, Peter or something. Like, weird, there's only I only count 14, you know? Mm-hmm. Instead of making it a big deal, because now, like, oh, it's super obvious. Even then, telling the origin of Spider-Man was just unimportant to me. You know? I think they could have done it so much cooler. Few flashbacks, you know? You don't have to get the whole detailed. We're going to spend the first 30 minutes in the intro, dude.
Oh, I know. And see, the thing is that I kind of feel like that he's being too rigid. Like, being rigid and being nervous is one thing. You know, being awkward. That's one area that I feel like what's his name? Andrew Garfield. Mm-hmm. I feel like he got the awkwardness a little bit better. I think Toby's he's almost stiff to a fault. He's very, very stiff. He starts opening up a little bit here as he's talking to her, trying to get her to pose, you know. I mean, it doesn't really take away, but I kind of feel like just his portrayal of the Peter Parker character is a little too stiff for my liking. But
I like this shot.
yes,
The spider's eye view as it lands on his hand. Oh God! And you know that had to be like that. That is not his hand. When they do these close-ups, if they had a real spider at any time on someone's hand, it was definitely a stunt hand, I guess you'd call it.
that whole spider looked very CG to me.
Yeah.
So now we are. And there's a little close-up of the screen telling him that he's now going to essentially be a superpowered human. It's changing his DNA. So we're officially at Oscorp now, and look, it's the glider. And
Right away, they didn't
I know,
bullshit.
yeah.
They just, hey, Oscorp, hey, look, guess what? We have the glider.
And of course, the whole military suits.
Now, I'm going to blow your mind. The general, that guy that's over here. Did you see him? Right side of the screen, not right now. Damn it. That guy, right
Yeah.
there. Do you know what he was in?
No, what was he on?
Brandon, he was the judge in Ghostbusters 2 that
What?
sentenced the Scoleri brothers.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, we don't even have.
I know, but look, it's just that look right there makes me almost certain that it's him. We'll have to fact check that later, folks.
And of course, folks, we're watching this without volume, so we can't even hear his voice to see if it's true.
Also true.
But, of course, here they are. He's pretty much. They're breaking the bad news to the military wigs that all the work that they've been doing with this super soldier stuff is going to be starting over again, and that's not good news because then they'll lose the what's that? What's the word I'm looking for? The contract.
Exactly.
They lose the contract, they lose a lot of money. So
Yeah, and then Norman would lose most likely his business.
yes, I mean this whole it seems like his company's hinging on this at this point. It's kind of cool and interesting how you can get a company so big and powerful, but yet you have to take strides to go in different directions, and so sometimes you have to just risk it all.
Do you like these two in their casting?
Dude, I think Aunt May's casting is fantastic. It's almost
I
like
agree with Aunt May's.
they 100% like they looked at a picture of Aunt May from the comics and said, "Let's find an actress who looks like this," and they got it. And I believe she acts the way she acts in the movies very well. She portrays Aunt May. But as far as the fellow playing Uncle Ben, which I don't recall his name,
Cliff Robertson,
There
I
it
do
is.
believe.
interesting enough, I don't know much of his work, but when I was a kid seeing this, I know that he plays the villain in Escape from L.A. He's the president. He's that evangelical president. And so I knew him as a villain. So seeing him as Uncle Ben was kind of shocking to me.
Huh.
I don't think he does a bad job. Not at all. Especially since, of course, they sort of reference his performance and, his version of the character throughout the trilogy.
It's funny that you mentioned the trilogy because they actually alter his story.
They do, yes.
And the way they just kind of retconned it and just was like, they swept it under the table, they changed the whole story. So.
It is interesting how they did that. Something you knew is not exactly what you knew of it.
I love how he's just lethargically going up the stairs.
Yes, he's hurt. Of course, the spider bit him. He's being affected. He's very sick.
Pale looking.
Oh, yeah. Interesting shots with these little blend-ins here. Oh, there he goes. And he didn't quite make the bed. Oh.
He did not stick that landing.
He's rolling the covers there. Oh, he's so cold. Oh, man. I like how they made the bite look pretty gnarly there. Kind of like a blister.
Yeah. Can I just say, wouldn't you think... I mean, Brando, if I get bit by some shit and I see that on my hand, isn't the only move like the hospital?
Dude, okay. Yeah. I don't really know what's going through his mind. It's like, is he going to get in trouble because he didn't take the spider out? But
True. It's totally unnecessary, by the way, that they color coordinated the spider that bit him with his colors that he's going to take over.
It is.
Like, they didn't really need to do that. I get it. You're trying to be symbolic or whatever, but this was 2002, though, you know?
right, yes, and here we are. We're back at Oscorp, and Norman saying this. This is not going to happen with us.
He also is saying, I'm going to be a human test subject, because why
Yes.
not? What do I got to lose? It's my product.
Oh yes, and of course this is the actual birth or the genesis of his transformation
Into the Green Goblin.
and it's interesting how they're doing the same thing with Spider-Man with Peter Parker as well as Norman with the Green Goblin. They're going away. They're going away like out of their way just to do their origins from the very very get go, and then they'll spend the rest of the movie just developing their new characters.
I like this idea, though. This chamber idea for how Norman gets his powers. That it's all gas and stuff. I really dig that. The way it was shot, the whole it was a really good way to make the origin modernized,
Of course, we got Nervous McNervouson here.
Oh, yeah.
Injecting.
The look on his face is like, oh, my God.
Yep. Okay. So now the liquid has been turned to a gas, and he's gonna breathe it all in.
I will also say this part made me think a little bit about the 1966 Batman movie,
Okay. Yeah.
with the puffs of gas or whatever.
Yeah.
But definitely a little different.
It also kind of made me think of the. I don't know. I lost it.
Don't you hate when that happens, folks?
I know.
That's this episode's title. We lost it.
We lost it.
Spidey Riff Track Part 1.
But the ending scene of the '89 film of Batman.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Abso-freaking-lutely, dude. See, look, unnecessary censorship. I could have said abso-fucking-lutely, but abso-freaking-lutely it was.
So he's freaking out because Norman's dead. And I've never seen someone do CPR.
On someone standing.
Someone standing. Uh-oh. Oh, look at that great look from...
God, Defoe is such a pro.
And then, of course, I really like this, and he comes up and he gets down. It's like... of course, that's like the classic goblin stance on like the glider, but it's almost like what's the point of that right there? It's like what made him inside want to go? Rah!
And in one scene change,
Yep.
Tobey McGuire has abs.
Oh yeah, and he can see perfectly.
He's like, oh shit, it's more blurry with these on. Wait, what?
Do it again.
Wait a minute, what?
Camera. Oh wait.
Wait, how?
I like how they kind of did that to kind of get away from like he's standing in the mirror, and you could just put that on to get the look through his eyes, while just kind of effectively just blurring it. Oh, now he's checking it out. Oh man, look at those guns.
My titty. Look at my ripped titties.
Look at these pecs. It's almost like he's going through puberty one night.
I will say that Tobey Maguire's body build was a good Spider-Man build.
Yes.
Like, The Rock could not pull off Spider-Man.
No, dude, that's more like Venom.
Dude, he would maybe make a cool Venom.
He maybe not like Eddie Brock.
No.
They'd have to create a whole new kind of Venom for him.
Yeah.
But as build wise, he can do it. Oh, dude, there's no way he doesn't stare into that like window and watch her get dressed.
I was gonna say, do you think that she's ever like caught him jerking it to her,
Oh, dude.
or do you think he can like spy on her and she's never known?
Oh, dude, he totally does.
Spider perv.
Yeah. Look at that. Oh, look at that. That is a total opposite of when he went up the stairs. He's like running down the walls.
Yeah, he went up the stairs like he was already dead.
Of course, got a little character development of Uncle Ben counting on him to help him paint the kitchen. And, of course, that is foreshadowing for Peter enjoying his newfound abilities and forgetting all about it.
More awkward Parker.
Yes, I like how they're kind of like going through the fact that MJ seems so perfect at school, but yeah, she has, of course, a troubled home. But But of course, he has to know that before this. It's like you live next door to somebody for so many years, and now he's pretending like he's talking to her, being very awkward. And see, he's very stiff when he's awkward.
Yeah. Here comes someone with a Ford Mustang.
Dude, man, that's like the music video to Friday.
Yeah, he didn't even he still, it hasn't even registered. Oh, there it is. Oh shit, there's the bus. I loved this scene because it's showing he doesn't know what he even is capable of.
And there's the stick, yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, what's on? I can't.
Now hold on, what kind of dick ass bus driver doesn't see him standing there and doesn't stop?
I do know.
You do know?
Cams, we're talking about the Green Goblin. Quit jumping on shit. Cam's, our cat's jumping on things, folks. Mucho apologize.
Oh, and there is his dad suddenly back at the house, and he's passed out on the floor.
And fully clothed too.
I know.
His tie is done. Did you ever notice that? He was shirtless.
His hair's disheveled, but he made sure to do his tie before he left that scientist dead in the little laboratory. And there's the butler. The second worst butler next to Alfred.
I agree with that. Totally. I was thinking about it, and it was just like, yeah.
Oh, and now they're saying that something's went horribly wrong. Someone's dead, and they took our stuff.
Which really is, he took his stuff, and he does remember. But he's not sure how to handle it. I love the way they utilized slow motion to show spider sense.
I love how they use slow motion to show Kirsten Dunst's boobies.
Also true.
Oh, and there's, you know what? Didn't she get her teeth fixed?
I don't know. It never bothered me.
They don't bother me either, but I don't like it when actresses and actors get like cosmetic surgery done to fix something that really isn't broken, just to make it look better, and then you see them in newer movies and then it bugs you.
The chick from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes.
And she got her nose done, and she looks terrible now.
I'm Magnetic Man.
Which...
How do you feel about them doing the organic web?
I don't know, because it's workable both ways. I mean, yes, spiders don't shoot webbing. Oh, I touched the mic. My apologies. Spiders don't shoot webbing out of their legs. They shoot out of their ass.
Yeah.
So Parker swinging around from his ass is not a great story. But modifying it and making it and calling that organic, that's cool.
Your Spidey sense.
Again, with the punch and the paper plane.
Doing the whole kind of Matrix.
Yeah, the fly buzz.
Like camera movement here, zooming in on some stuff.
That was always gross to me.
Oh, the spit wad?
Yeah, it's just like,
it
Jesus
really
Christ.
look as good as what it could, but I mean,
True.
Come on, that's back then. So here's Flash getting his comeuppance.
Comeuppance.
Yeah.
Man, and look, we're barely on to the origins. We've only got a few minutes left of this episode.
Yeah, we do. I think we'll stop it right after this little fight here.
I think that's good.
But I like how he's using it's when they slow it down here.
Whoa, I can totally do this.
Right, yeah. I like how
holy shit.
Like he doesn't stop, and then,
that's very Matrix.
Yes, it is, of course. A lot of stuff taken from the Matrix. Matrix was a very...
He did like a quadruple fucking backflip from
man.
a standstill position and didn't even bend his goddamn knees. Fucking pussy.
Oh yeah, he goes, I'm gonna get this guy. Look at it. And he's block grabs him. You know, breaking his arm with just his fist. One punch sends him flying across the hall. And of course the comedy of... And who holds their fist like that when they punch somebody?
No one ever.
I like how she's looking at him like, you asshole, you punched him.
You know, one thing I think was kind of missing from this movie, and we'll talk more about this in the second episode, was the lack of Parker's humor.
Yeah. So we're going to stop it right after that, guys. But to close up on that, yes, Parker definitely has, like in the second movies that they did, he was very awkward, and he had a lot of humor, right? And this one he really doesn't, and I feel like they focus more on the awkwardness.
Yeah, they did. They
But-
shied away.
But what really bugs me about that fight scene, of course, she is telling Flash, stop picking on him. And then he defends himself, and she looks at him like, what the hell are you doing punching him? When all Flash was trying to do was punch him.
Correct.
Yeah, that kind of bugs me.
Okay.
It's just like, well, what the hell? It's like, I understand you're not very happy that I just punched your boyfriend, but you were mad at him. What do you want me to do? Say, hey, I'll let you hit me.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, your boyfriend's being a complete dick here. I don't know, that always bugged me. But anyway, guys, we are at, I don't know, because his controller keeps dying.
Yeah, the controller doesn't
We
have
are
a
at
charge.
25 minutes, 13 seconds. So make sure that you're paused right there, and we're going to pick up right up on the next part, coming out in about 2 weeks.
Correct. You'll next hear us next week where the Secret of the Shuddy Wars happens. Oh, wait, it's the Secret Wars featuring Shuddy Boy. But that was my senseless plug for the day. So you'll be hearing him come back on our show. The comic Journey into Comic Club idea that we mentioned earlier in the show was his. And we're excited to see how this goes. And you'll be hearing it ASAP, I guess.
Oh, yeah, man. Right next week, it'll be ready to go.
Yeah, excellent. And be sure in the near future to check us out on YouTube. We've got a lot of great videos that are up, more great videos coming. Soon we delve into a new world because I will have a GoPro.
Oh, yeah, man.
And
That's
we
cool.
will be making all kinds of interesting underwater podcasts.
Hell yeah, dude. Under the sea.
All right, folks. Well, we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks finishing up the Spider-Man Riff Track. Next week with Shuddy and the Secret Wars review. And then until next time, I'm Nate.
I'm Brando.
And we'll see you guys later.
Later, guys.